today's topic is something that on its face, it seems really obvious, but I didn't really get serious about this topic until, my God, a few years ago, really. And the topic that I'm talking about is your morning routine. And I love this topic because it is an example of how you can apply what we've already been talking about in the first 30 some episodes of the Mel Robbins podcast. Whether you've listened to the Mindset Reset or the conversations we've had with experts about anxiety or healing, or maybe you've dug into the very popular episodes that we've done about habits and motivation. Even when I talk about topics like manifesting, you're starting to get that Mel is one of these people that is very, very intentional about what she does, about what she says. And the reason why I'm that way is because you're not going to change your life by accident. You're not going to become happier by accident. You're not going to become healthier by accident. You're not going to make the money that you deserve by accident. When you make a decision that you deserve more, that you're going to do the work to create a better life, that singular decision will change your life. And what we're going to do today, and I'm so freaking excited about this, is we're going to basically put everything that we've been talking about for several months here on the Mel Robbins podcast into action. And we're going to do that by talking about why a morning routine is so important for your success. And I'm going to start this conversation today by talking about the single biggest hack that has helped me create a rock solid morning routine. In fact, I call my morning routine the $1,000,000 morning because it makes me feel like $1,000,000 when I follow my morning routine. And the structure of a great morning routine is what helps me make millions of dollars. And so, what is the hack that has helped me create such a powerful morning routine? Particularly when your friend Mel Robbins is not exactly a morning person. Well, that single biggest hack about my powerful morning routine is putting myself to bed. Yep, I have an evening routine where I wind down the day and I do a couple simple things to set myself up for success tomorrow. And then, yes, you heard it right here, Mel Robbins tucks herself into bed. And here is the hack. Your morning routine begins the night before. I'm going to say that again. If you want to master a rock solid morning routine, and trust me, you do, your morning routine begins the night before. And this is one of those topics that it's so obvious when you unpack it. Because right now, think about how many mornings you wake up and you bemoan the choices you made last night. How many times have you woken up and you're like, oh, I shouldn't have had so much to drink? Or a friend texts you and there you are at the yoga class you were supposed to meet at. They're like, I'm really sorry. I stayed up really late and, and I overslept and we've all been there. Or what about when you wake up and you literally had fast food at 1 o'clock in the morning on the way home from some event, and now you've got a burrito bomb in your stomach and you're like, I can't do that to myself again. And then what do? You do it to yourself again. What if instead of bemoaning the choices that you made last night, what if you got serious about making sure that the future you, the one that's waking up tomorrow morning, is actually waking up feeling really good? Yeah, you're right. It sucks to wake up and be anxious every morning because you drank almost every night. And the number one symptom of a hangover is freaking anxiety because the chemicals in your body are getting processed. And when the chemicals get processed and you have a dump of cortisol and the dopamine drops and you got the poison of alcohol, of course you have anxiety. Don't sit there and feel anxious. Do something about it. Get serious about the choices you are making the night before and how that impacts you in the morning. And yeah, that includes what you eat, what you drink, but it also includes some other things. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about 5 simple things. These are game changers. These are not rocket science. You don't need a PhD to understand this, but let me tell you something. When you put this into practice, you will experience a level of Holy shit, transformation that is hard to put into words. Because the decisions that you make at night determine who you are when you wake up in the morning. And you have a choice every evening to either set the future you up for success, for ease, for structure, for confidence, for winning, or you can make decisions in the evening that set you up to feel like shit, to be behind, to have a ton of stuff to do that you could have done last night. Your decisions determine everything. And so I really want to rattle the cage today and get you to think differently about the night. I know that your days are stressful. Mine are too. That's why so many of us engage in what's called revenge procrastination at night, which is basically this concept where you feel resentful of the fact that work took up your entire day, and now you're going to get revenge by mindlessly scrolling at night or plowing through a bottle of wine or doing nothing to set yourself up because you're tired or you're mad and you deserve to relax. I agree, you do deserve to relax. But if you were to just do these 5 things that I'm going to recommend, you would have time to relax, but you would also set the you that's going to wake up tomorrow morning up for a clean slate day where you wake up, you feel great, you're set up for success, and that is going to be a positive domino that literally triggers a ton of positive stuff to happen every day. That's what we're talking about. Because the choices you make at night determine whether or not the next day is going to be easy and empowering, or whether or not you are going to wake up to a morning like the old Mel Robbins used to wake up to. And whether you're aware of it or not, I just want you to stop and consider something. Right now in your life, you already have an evening routine in place. You already have a morning routine. And today, because the big hack is understanding that a great morning routine starts the night before, you and I are going to focus on your current evening routine. And I, as your friend, am going to challenge you to change it. So let's do a quick experiment. Okay? I want you just to stop, think about the night in front of you, and be honest. What does the average evening in your current life look like? I'll go first because back when I was really struggling, the old Mel, I now realize how much my evening routine was contributing to the fact that I was struggling so much. So here's what the old Mel's evening routine looked like many years ago. I would either come home from work or I would roll downstairs from working on my laptop all day and I'd crack open a bottle of wine. I'd cook dinner by trying to throw something together that was in the fridge because I hadn't really planned anything. I'd throw a load of laundry in here and there. And then you know what I'd do? I'd basically slump down on the couch and I'd start scrolling through social media. After dinner and helping the kids with the homework, you might find the old Mel Robbins just sort of laying there on the couch with the bottle half drained, glass of wine in hand. I got a movie or some series on the television. I got my phone in my hand. I'm zoning out. I'm scrolling along. During the commercials, the old Mel Robbins, I'd probably turn to Chris, complain about my day. Then I'd look over at the kitchen and I'd see that the counters were full of crap from the dinner that we had cooked or from the backpacks that we had emptied or the laptops that we had put there. The kids' homework was typically sprawled out among the island. And I would say to myself this was the routine of the old Mel Robbins. I should probably clean that up over the next commercial break. And I'd say that over and over again. I should probably pack their lunches. I should probably turn off the TV and read a book. I should probably move the laundry from the washer to the dryer so it doesn't sit there for 5 days and then get that disgusting, damp, old towel smell to it, and then I have to rewash it again. I know you do that too. And all of a sudden, it would be almost 11 o'clock before I knew it. I would have polished off that bottle of wine. I'd get up and I'd clear off the counters and put most of the dishes into the sink, a few of them into the dishwasher. I'd do my favorite cleaning trick, which is instead of scrubbing and cleaning the pans that I had cooked dinner in, I'd just fill them up with warm soapy water and let them soak. because I'd tell myself it's going to be easier to clean them in the morning if they soak all night. Now, by this point, I'm exhausted. I'm buzzed on the wine. I'm tired from a long day. I kind of resent the fact that I have more to do and it's now 11:15, and I'd start to tell myself, "Well, I'll just pack the kids' lunches tomorrow." And then I would turn off the lights, I'd let the dog out one more time, I'd lock the doors, and I would collapse into bed with my phone. Now, it would take the old Mel Robbins a little time to fall asleep. Why? Because while I was laying there with Chris sound asleep next to me, I would scroll through my phone, I would check out social media, I'd read the news, and eventually I would zone out. And as I was lying there, I'd feel kind of annoyed that Chris had gone to bed earlier. He had already drifted off to sleep. And at some point, I'd realize, oh my God, it's like almost 1 o'clock in the morning. How did it get so late? For all my fellow procrastinators out there, you know, those of us who pulled all nighters in college, who thought tomorrow is a great day to pack the bags, to start my workout routine, to clean up the kitchen, to set myself up for success. Tomorrow is the day when the new me will emerge from my beauty sleep tonight. I will shake off that hangover from the bottle of wine that I've had. I'll pop a couple Advil and I will make a fresh start. Tomorrow is the fresh start. That was the old Mel Robbins. I used to have all kinds of stories about myself for why it is that, I just couldn't get my act together. Oh, it's just so hard for me to wind down after a long workday. I have trouble falling asleep. I need a glass of wine or two or three or four in order to relax and to fall asleep. And, I'm just not a morning person. That's why I can't get up earlier. I don't know why I wake up and I feel anxious and slightly hungover, but, I'm just not the kind of person that ever just springs out of bed. And I got so much work that I just want to relax at night. What's the big deal? And the problem with this is that my nights did not set me up to have a relaxing morning. Let me tell you what the old Mel Robbins life was like. Thank God Chris is not on this episode because he would really describe it in a way that makes me feel like a loser. I would set several alarms on my phone. The first one to go off at 5:45, but that's not actually when I'm getting up. That's just alarm number 1. And then I'd set another alarm for about, 6 o'clock. And then I'd set another one for 6:15, and then another one for 6:30, and then another one for 6:45, which was kind of the time that I felt like I needed to get out of bed because that's only 45 minutes to get 3 kids out the door and lunch is packed and everything cleaned up. But I'd usually honestly roll out of bed at the last alarm, which was like the emergency alarm, which was 7:15. Sound familiar? Don't tell me you don't do this. You do this. And I want you to just consider, what does that act of setting multiple alarms say to your subconscious? Think about what those actions communicate to you. I'll tell you what they communicated about the old Mel Robbins. Waking up is hard. Getting up is hard. Mornings are hard. Life is an obligation. Being in bed is better than being awake. I don't want to get out of bed. I don't want to start my day. There is nothing I'm looking forward to today. I have nothing to get out of bed for that actually makes me happy, which is why this is going to be a slow death march for me of alarms that are summoning me to roll out of this warm bed and actually start this day. I wasn't a morning person because the old Mel Robbins chose not to be one. The old Mel Robbins literally did absolutely nothing the night before to set herself up for success. If you think about all the choices that I was making, because deciding to just zone out in front of TV, that's a choice. Leaving the dishes for tomorrow morning, that's a choice. Not packing lunches to set yourself up for success, that's a choice. That is part of your routine. And if you don't watch it, you're going to become like the old Mel Robbins. You're going to be making your life harder for yourself without even realizing it. And one of the main reasons why I kept doing it is because I kept telling myself, I'm so tired. I don't want to have to do anything. I've worked all day. And by doing that, I was just making it harder. Now, thankfully, I finally had this turning point when I realized I don't want my mornings to be a 5-alarm fire drill because there is nothing fun about waking up late and feeling frustrated and then being stressed at your kids and then yelling at them to move faster because you yourself didn't get up on time and then scrambling to pack the lunches and the drama that comes with that and then trying to get them to eat when you haven't even prepared anything and then finding that permission slip that they needed that you signed last night but you didn't put it in a place that you could find it simply because you were not thinking about the fact that you deserve to wake up in a powerful way. You deserve to complete your day in a way that supports you. I didn't have to race out the door. I didn't have to start my day mad at my husband, frustrated by the frenzy, going from literally sleeping to a panic attack every single morning and then hopping in the car to commute to work to see that, oh my God, I have zero gas in the tank because I was too tired when I drove home last night to stop and I just wanted to get home. So I didn't fill up the tank and now I'm running late and now I'm on the highway and I'm pulling on at the exact time that traffic literally doubles. Why do I keep doing this to myself? And here's something interesting. Doesn't it make sense that if I start my day like that, I'm probably making myself more stressed and tired all day long? That crazy morning is like a domino that falls. And it triggers more stress and more being behind and more draining energy so that you're constantly feeling like you're always reacting because you are, because you set it up that way. I know this because I lived it for years. And I just kept saying all the disempowering thing. Why can't I be like it? Why don't I have discipline? Why don't I do this? And I didn't understand how to break this down in a way that not only makes sense, but it's supported by the research. And I think I was rolling home completely spent, not because work was long, not because the day was stressful, but because my entire experience of waking up and starting the day had started that way. That I was looking forward to that bottle of wine the second the kids got on the bus because I had spent the 45 minutes I was awake running around like the Tasmanian devil. And I'm here to tell you there is an easier way. And that brings me back to this hack. You can make this easier. You can be a different person. Your morning routine is everything when it comes to success and happiness and putting yourself first and finding the time that you deserve to focus on what matters to you. And that incredible morning routine has to begin the night before. That's the hack. And that's what changed everything for me. I am not the old Mel Robbins. In fact, just describing what my life used to be like is giving me a stomach ache when I think about how much unnecessary stress and drama I created for myself, for my kids, for my husband. It wasn't fun for anybody. And so I'm not like that anymore. I am a completely different person because I decided I wanted to be a completely different person. And you don't have to be a Navy SEAL. You don't have to be a competitive athlete. You don't have to run $1 billion company to understand that setting yourself up the night before is the secret to waking up and having a great morning. And when you have a great morning, it's easier to have a great day. That's how this builds. And so that's what we're going to talk about. How do you end the day? How do you wind things down and put yourself to bed? I want you to stop and think about something. You already have a routine about how you shut down your house or your apartment. Think about it. Do you ever go to bed and not lock the door? No. Do you go to bed and turn the lights off? Of course you turn the lights off. Do you, make sure your pets are where they need to be? Of course you do. Do you shut the refrigerator? Yes, you do. Do you turn off the TV? Of course you do. All of these things that you do to turn off and shut down the house at night. You have a routine about what you physically do in your space or your home. You lock the front door, you turn off the lights, maybe you put your dog in a crate, you brush your teeth, you kiss the kids goodnight, you read them a book, you turn off the television, you put on your PJs. There is this shutting down that you do that is routine. You don't even think about it. And I think about it, it's almost like we're putting the house to bed. It's easy to think about the list of things that you do without even being conscious of it when it comes to your physical environment. What I want to talk to you about today is what are the things that you and I can do to help you do that emotionally and psychologically? And I want to give you one more example for why a routine is so empowering when you get very intentional about it. Have you ever gone to bed? Maybe you're feeling sick or you've been up too late or whatever, or your kids come in later and you wake up in the morning and all the lights are on downstairs? It's so disorienting because you're like, wait a minute, why are the lights on? I always turn the lights off. It's so weird when that happens. It feels like something's wrong. What if I told you you can get to the point where your evening routine and the series of the 5 things that I want you to do becomes so automatic, so easy, that when you don't do these things, it's disorienting. That's how important this is. So, in just a minute, I'm going to walk you through the 5 things that the current Mel Robbins does every single night. This is my evening routine, and the philosophy behind it is all about making my mornings easier. It's all about setting myself up for success and creating a rhythm and a routine and a structure to my evenings that gives me a sense of confidence, that helps me set the Mel Robbins that's waking up tomorrow morning up for success and ease, and that also makes me an amazing sleeper because this routine and the structure of it signals to my subconscious brain that we're winding down here. Just like we lock the front door and it's time to go to bed, we're turning out the lights, it's time to go to bed. You are going to do a series of things that signal to your brain and to your mind that it is time to turn it off and to tuck yourself in. Like, I think a lot about how when I was growing up, I had a very, very strict bedtime routine. My parents were not dummies. They did not want me up late. There was no negotiation. After dinner, we had to go right upstairs and we got into a hot bath. Why? Well, because we were dirty, but also because it makes you kind of drowsy, right? It's sort of like you just do it every night. It's signaling to you, the kid, that, okay, we're in our evening routine now. We're getting into the bedtime routine. And then I'd pull on my little footed PJs and I'd zip them up and we get a little bit of time downstairs to either play or watch one TV show. And then what would we do? We'd be right back upstairs. We'd be getting a bedtime story read to us. And then our parents would tuck us in, kiss us on the forehead or the cheek, and we were going to bed. That bedtime routine became this rhythm that created safety and structure and ease, something you can depend upon. And so I want you to join me in getting serious about your evening routine starting tonight. I want you to embrace the fact that your mornings will be 100 times better if you set yourself up for success starting tonight. The importance of your morning routine. We have already covered the science around the way that your brain works. We have already discussed how you have a default network of neurons and neural pathways in your brain that filter the world. They allow what comes in and what comes out. We've talked about limiting beliefs. We've trained you on the power of being a deliberate thinker. We've trained you on how you think this instead of thinking that when you have very negative beliefs. And now we're in the portion of the program where we're talking about the power of your morning routine. Why is a morning routine critical for your mindset? The reason why your morning routine is critical for your mindset is a couple reasons. Number one, let's just think common sense. If you wake up and you feel horrible and you're in a bad mood and you pick up your phone or you turn on the news and the first inbound information that hits your brain is negative, or it triggers something in you emotionally that is negative, you are starting your day off on the wrong foot. And you might even have a habit that if you wake up and the day begins as a bad day, that you then spend the rest of your day convincing yourself that this entire day is a bad day. That is a major mistake. It's also not true because you get to choose how you view what's happening around you. And the second reason why your morning routine is critical is because the first 2 hours that your brain is awake are the best 2 hours for your brain all day. And so I believe that if you create a very powerful morning routine, and the one that I am recommending that you start off with, and then you make it your own, you add in things, you take away things that you don't use or that you're not going to like. But everything I'm recommending is based on the science around productivity, focus, happiness, the way that your mind is actually wired to work. And that's why I'm recommending everything that I've been recommending in the program. I will explain very briefly the steps of the morning routine, but if this is the first video you're watching, it's day 11. Go back to day 9, go back to day 10, where I really begin talking about the power of a morning routine, why it's important, and I explain the science in detail. For today's training, we're going to talk about the third step in your morning routine. So when you get to the third step, by this point, you have already woken up on time and gotten out of bed when the alarm rang. You didn't hit the snooze button. You've already turned off the alarm on your phone if you're using your phone for your alarm. You have not looked at your phone. You have not turned on the TV. You have not let any information from the outside world cross the threshold into your precious brain yet. Why? Well, the reason why is I believe that you and your dreams, they deserve 10 lousy minutes. In fact, I think they deserve an hour, but I'm just going to go with 10 minutes because I know that you can find 10 lousy minutes to focus on your dreams, to focus on becoming a deliberate thinker, to plan out your day, and to figure out what your priority is. So today, we are building on the critical connection between having a positive, deliberate, healthy mindset and how you start the day and what your morning routine is. By way of recap, we've already covered why the number one thing about your morning routine is that the night before you plug your phone in outside of your bedroom, you can leave the ringer on, turn notifications off. If somebody needs to reach you, they can call you, but otherwise you're going to bed. That's number one. Number two, the second the alarm rings, you are to wake up. No hitting the snooze button. Yesterday, I explained in great detail the scientific reason why you do not want to hit the snooze button. And the fact that based on research, it is medically proven that when you hit the snooze button and doze off to sleep, you put your brain in a state of sleep inertia, which impacts your ability to focus, your ability to be positive, your ability to process information for up to 4 hours. That is why it is critical. And step 2 of your morning routine is when that alarm rings, you 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, use the 5-second rule and get out of bed. Now, number 3, that's what we're talking about today. The third piece of your morning routine is that for the first 10 to 30 minutes of the day, that time is reserved for your dreams. That time is reserved for you. That time is time that you need to protect. You are not to pick up your phone. Do not turn on the television. Do not turn on the radio. No outside world input. All I want you to do for the first 10 to 30 minutes of the day is I want you to give those 10 to 30 minutes to your dreams. I think your dreams deserve 10 minutes, don't you? And you're not going to give them 10 minutes if the first thing that you do is pick up your phone. It's just not going to happen. Your attention is under siege all day long. All day long, the world is trying to sell you something, or they're trying to serve up something that's salacious or tempting or curiosity provoking in order to get your limbic system, which is the interior part of your brain, the fight or flight, the part of your brain that's triggered by emotion and fear. They're trying to trick you to pay attention to things that just don't matter to your dreams, to your day-to-day life, to your family. And that is why it is critical that the first 10 minutes are reserved for you and your dreams. Now, you may be asking, What is it that you should be doing in those 10 to 30 minutes? I'm so glad you asked because I have a gift to give you today. I have developed a journaling method. I'm not selling you anything. Don't worry. I'm actually giving you something for free. I've developed a journaling method that I worked on for the last 3 years. I've taught it to thousands and thousands and thousands of people around the world, whether I'm teaching it from a stage or whether I've incorporated it into other courses or the other training videos that we've done online. This is a journaling method that I use. It takes less than 5 minutes. It's backed by science. And what I'm going to do for the rest of the week is I'm going to walk you step by step through the various prompts that I use in the first 10 minutes of my day to anchor my mood on something positive, to focus on the one thing that matters to me today, to practice gratitude, and to draw boundaries between the things that I need to do and when I need to cut off access to work and when I need to stop working so that I can have a little bit of focus time with my family or with myself for self-care, taking care of myself, whatever. The gift that I'm giving you is in the email that's going out today. We are going to give you a link to the PDF of the 5-second journal. You're going to get the page that I fill out every single morning for free. You can look at it on your phone. You can print it out if you want. You can use it. If you want it, you can of course go to Amazon, but that's not the point of giving it to you. I'm doing these live trainings and I'm teeing up this information because it is so important for you to get deliberate about what you're doing in order to improve your life. And so I want to share with you what I do every morning. I'm going to share with you the science behind it and why I do it and the results that it has created in my life. And I'm going to give you a free template to use so that you can try it out too, so that you can think and be more deliberate about what you're doing. That's the entire point of this, because the morning routine's only going to work if you make it yours. If you are a shift worker and your morning routine begins at midnight, all of these same principles apply. You need to make them work for you, otherwise you're not going to do it. And I'm the kind of person that if something sounds too good to be true, I tend to just sort of get like cynical about things and go, I'm not trying that, that's a gimmick. If I understand the science behind it, which is why I explain the science behind why you should never hit the snooze alarm when you need to get up and get going. When I understand the science and the reason and the research behind something, I am convinced to try it. And when I see results in my own life, then I keep doing it. And so again, today the training is very simple. You're going to continue being deliberate about building a morning routine. Tonight, plug the phone in outside your bedroom. Tomorrow morning when the alarm goes off, you are going to wake up as soon as that alarm gets off. You're welcome to hate me for that. That's fine. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get out of bed. If you're using your phone for the alarm, walk across the room, turn off the alarm. Do not pick up your phone. Do not. Go to a different part of the room. Go to the kitchen. Go to the bathroom. Go to your office. Go somewhere else. Crack open your notebook. The first 10 to 30 minutes are for you. Are for you. If you've got kids that get up really early, wake up 15 minutes earlier than you normally do, so you've got that quiet time in the house for you. In the email that goes out later today, I'm going to put in the email the link to the PDF of the 5-second journal template. You can also get that at 5secondjournal.com. If for some reason you're not on the email list, get to melrobbins.com/mindset reset so we can get these things to you. And in tomorrow's post, we'll be sure to upload a link to the PDF so that you can reach it as well. I want to answer a few questions. Tomorrow, I'm going to break down the journaling method, which is why I want you to have it in front of you tomorrow morning when you wake up so you can try it so that the training goes along with it. I also want to preview something. Many of you have been asking about whether or not we're going to get into anxiety. You better believe it. Now that our trainings have covered the default network in your brain, how to become a deliberate thinker, thinking this, not that, learning how to spot your limiting beliefs and switching gears and choosing what you think about. We're now in the middle of building a habit in the morning that's going to help support you be a deliberate thinker and will also give you control first thing in the morning so that you are in control of what you're thinking about. You've planned your day, you've pushed your dreams forward. That's going to start you out in a totally different way. Then we're going to get into topics like anxiety, depression, how to talk to your kids about anxiety. These are issues and mental health challenges that you face when your limiting beliefs, your worries, and your stress become not only your default, but they start to spin out of control and become the constant way that you think, not just the default that gets triggered. So we're going to be covering all of that in the coming weeks. This is game-changing stuff, but we got to start with the foundational stuff first. Default versus deliberate thinking, thinking this, not that, spotting your limiting beliefs and realizing it's a habit the way that you think that way. It's not the truth. And now building a morning routine so that the way that you wake up, how you wake up, and how you spend those first couple minutes of the day support your mindset changing and give you control through the rest of the day. Before I preview what we're going to talk about tomorrow, let me jump into some of the questions that we've gotten. If you've got questions, just put them right down there. Tell me, did you take the phone challenge? Did you take the snooze alarm challenge? Did you hate it? What did you notice? Share with us what's going on, because by you sharing your story, you're going to be inspiring other people as well. Even if you failed, so what? You're trying something new. Failing is just as good as succeeding at something because you're learning something. And guess what? Tomorrow morning when that alarm rings, you get to go for it again. So shout out to Edith Shaw on Facebook. I wasn't sure if I could actually go to sleep knowing my phone was in another room, but I did. I turned it to silent and went to sleep. It was weird to say the least, and I did find myself reaching for it in the middle of the night only to find it wasn't there. Did you do that too? I know, it's a really crazy habit to break because you don't realize how addicted you are. But here's the good news. This is what Edith noticed. I really noticed the difference. I had space in my mind to think about my day. I visualized for a few moments. I thought about how my day will unfold. I wrote in my planner, and all felt a lot more peaceful and calm. Deirdre, she accepted the challenge last night, which actually had her get out of bed to cut off the phone alarm. Then she put the phone back down until I was ready to check the news. I was so much more productive and awake before leaving my house to get to the gym. I will do this every day now. I am hammering this stuff because it works. Here's a few more. Amy Robbins on Facebook. You mentioned if you wake up before the alarm, you need to get up. I often wake up early but don't want to get up yet. Am I out of luck and just need to get out of bed? Amy, look, you got to make this work for you. So if you wake up before the alarm and you have a meditation practice where you lie in your bed and you meditate and it works for you, do it. Then get up. What I don't want you to do, Amy, is drift back to sleep, because drifting back to sleep causes your brain to go into another sleep cycle, which lasts 75 to 90 minutes. And if you wake up before the 75 to 90 minutes, you've put your brain in a state of sleep inertia, and that's going to impact your productivity for the next 4 hours and your focus for the next 4 hours. That's why I don't want you drifting back to sleep. I could never lie in bed. I'm not that kind of person because I will fall back asleep. I hate getting up. But if it works for you as part of your mindfulness routine, your morning practice, to wake up before the alarm, have a mindfulness practice, and then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get up, don't look at your phone, take the first 10 to 30 minutes for yourself, fantastic, go for it. Make it your own. That way you'll actually do it. Jane Harmon McFarland on Facebook. I start work at 6 a.m. every day and the alarm is set for 5:50. Do you suggest that I wake up earlier, or can I do dream goal time before bed? I really want you to do it when you wake up. I would wake up earlier, Jane. I would wake up at 5:30, and here's why. The reason why is when you wake up, you got a clean slate. What I would love for you to deliberately put into your prefrontal cortex, the executive center of your brain, is I would like you to deliberately put how you want your day to go, what's the one thing that matters to you, and one thing that you can do to advance your dreams. Why? If you go back to some of the earlier trainings when we talk about the two modes of the brain and the fact that we all have a default mode network that acts like a filtering system in our minds. Part of the reason why I want you to wake up and engage the executive center of your brain, your prefrontal cortex, and be deliberate about what you're thinking is that by doing that, we are reprogramming your default network. We are telling the default network in your brain, the fabric and filter system in your brain, what you care about and what we want help spotting opportunities around. You know how there are moments in your life where you feel like you're in a state of flow and you notice these magical coincidences and you spot all kinds of interesting connections and things just seem to happen. Part of the reason why that happens, or the law of attraction works, is because by getting deliberate about what you're thinking about and about what you care about, you are priming your mind to be programmed to see connections and opportunities. Visualization, the law of attraction, it's not just some woo-woo garbage. There's hard science that explains why it works, and it has to do with your default mode in your brain, and how when you get deliberate and you engage the executive center in your brain, your prefrontal cortex, you train your brain to help you spot opportunities. Finally, last question, Mikey on Instagram. Why do I feel so guilty for carving out personal time? It's been hard for me since becoming a parent. I'll tell you why, Mikey. I bet it has to do with your limiting belief. I bet it has to do with that negative thing that you default to, whether you think you're not worthy or you think you're not good enough, that somewhere deep down inside, by taking time out for yourself, you are saying to yourself, well, I don't deserve to do that. And the only way that you're going to start to carve out personal time is if you go to war against that limiting belief and you create a new one. And the new one around personal time is, I will be a better parent, a better father, a better husband if I take time and go to the gym. I will be a better parent, a better person, a better husband if I take time to work on my dreams. And by the way, you want your kids to know how to take care of themselves, right? Well, the only way they're going to learn it is if you model it. So if you can't do it for yourself, use modeling, having healthy boundaries and healthy habits as an individual, modeling it for your kids as your motivation. All right, I got to hop because there are 1,500 people in a ballroom downstairs that I need to give a speech to. But tomorrow we are going to add on to this mindset training and the connection with your morning routine, and we're going to get personal. You're going to have a copy of my method and the journaling that I do every morning to prime my mind based on science. I'm going to walk you through step by step each one of the steps. I want you to try them. I want you to tweak them and make them your own. And I want you to continue to fight for that 10 to 30 minutes every morning. Here's the recap on your homework. Tonight, you're going to plug in your phone. Outside of your bedroom, you're going to go to bed. When the alarm rings, you're going to get up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, no snooze. You're going to turn off the alarm if it's on your phone, and tomorrow morning, you're going to take 10 to 30 minutes, all for you. You can meditate. You can plan your day. You can print out the PDF we're going to mail you in a little bit. That's the journaling page from the 5-second journal, my journaling method. You can fill that out and see how that feels. But you're going to practice grabbing your attention and being deliberate and setting your day up to go in the direction you want it to go in. And something's going to surprise you when you do that. You're going to be training your mind to help you make your day go in the direction that you want it to go. And you're going to start noticing all kinds of connections and magical things that happen. I know it sounds really weird, but it's true. This is the beauty of what happens when you get deliberate about what you want to see in the world. You get deliberate about what you want to say to yourself. And as always, continue to spot those limiting beliefs when they rise up today. And the second you see yourself saying, I'm not enough, I'm not good enough, why did I say something so stupid? Now's not a good time. I better not say what I really feel. You're going to interrupt that old default and you're going to insert something that's positive, because that is the work of doing a mindset reset. It's not a one and done. It's something you do all day long because you are fighting against a lifetime of limiting beliefs. All right. What else was I going to say? In case nobody else tells you today, I want to be the one to tell you that I love you. And I believe in your ability to make your life better. I believe in your ability to be happier. I believe in your ability to pursue your dreams. And that's why I'm here every day, to remind you of that fact and that you got this. Today, we are building on your morning routine. We have already covered in week 1 default versus deliberate thinking. We have already covered, this is driving me nuts, this little line here. I think that's a little bit better. We've already see, I'm sorry. For those of you on Instagram, you can't see that there's like a lightsaber going through my face on the Facebook broadcast, but whatever. If I get closer, maybe that'll work, because it is driving me bananas. This is what it's like to live with ADD. We have already covered deliberate versus default thinking. We've covered the science of visualization. We've talked about how to spot limiting beliefs and how to become the kind of person that when you notice that you're thinking this and it doesn't serve you, that you deliberately think that something that is positive, that is a story about you. I want to tell you something. Just this morning, I was talking to one of my favorite people, and she has the exact same story that I used to have, that she's a bad person. And so consequently, she sees evidence all over the place for where she's bad. And she's going through this big breakup right now, and the person that she is breaking up with, basically, while the breakup process was happening, he basically said to her, in a number of different ways, "You're a bad person. Push the button, push the button, push the button, push the button." We all have buttons that anybody or anything can push. And that's why it's so important, if you have limiting beliefs from your past, that you change them. Because if you tell yourself that you're a bad person, you will see evidence that you are. And more importantly, you will also start to act consistently with a bad person. And here's the truth. You're not a bad person. My friend is an amazing person. I'm an amazing person. And so it is critical for you to take control of your life and of your thinking. And it starts with the story that you say about yourself. And so we were talking this morning about how in this next chapter, post-breakup, the most important thing to go forward with is the belief and the deliberate thinking that you are a good person. Look for all the good things that you do. Look for the people that are around you that do love you deeply. Look at how compassionate you are. Look at the little changes that you're making. Look at the little wins all day. Look at how helpful you are. Find the evidence, and it's going to make it easier and easier and easier for you to continue to be deliberate about what you're thinking about. So we've already covered all this. You can go back and review all the videos on our YouTube channel or our Facebook page anytime that you want. Anybody can sign up for this, melrobbins.com/mindset reset. I want to give some shout outs to some people because I cannot believe how many people are changing their lives. Let me stop that. I actually can believe. I can believe how many of you are changing your lives. And here's why. It took me about 45 years to really seriously start to go to work on how I think, to dismantle the limiting beliefs that I have. And when I did, it was such a profound, game-changing level of personal development for me that I know personally how it can shift the ground that you're standing on when you shift the thoughts that you're thinking. And so I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that if you're actually trying the micro things that I'm telling you to do every single day that are building not only on decades of science and research, but they're building every day on one another. We started out with thinking habits, and now right now you're in the middle of a training about your morning routine. And I'm going to get to that in a minute. But when you make these tiny changes, particularly about how you think, it will change everything about your life because you don't realize it. But we walk through life with a filter, and that filter has been programmed by the stories that you tell yourself. And the filter reinforces the stories because that filter that you see the world through, wouldn't it be nice if we just saw the world through glitter? This filter that you have, if it's negative about yourself, you're only going to see negative things, and you're only going to have negative things come in. And when nice things happen to you, you're not going to believe that you deserve it. So it's essential that we identify the filter that you see the world through and we remove it. And we put something that's clear and that's amplifying and that's positive in its place. And one of the things that's really important in addition to the mental habits is your morning routine. And the reason why your morning routine is so important is because it's the start of your day. If you wake up and think crappy thoughts, you are setting the table to have that continue. And so I am training you to take control of your morning, and it begins with what you do as soon as you wake up. We've already covered why you should leave your phone in the outside of your bedroom at night. We've already covered the science behind why when the alarm gets up, you need to get up. You should not hit the snooze button because it puts you in a neurological state called sleep inertia that impacts your focus, your happiness, your mood. We have also talked about the fact that your dreams are worth 10 minutes. I actually think they're worth an hour, but most of us only have 10 minutes before the chaos begins. So I want you to find 10 lousy minutes for your dreams every morning. So after you turn off your alarm, you get out of bed, do not look at your phone. You go straight to a spot and you take this little template that we gave you for free. Just go to melrobbins.com/mindset reset. You can also find this, by the way, at 5secondjournal.com. So on the website 5secondjournal.com, you will find not only this downloadable template, but you're going to find a ton of videos about the science behind the journaling method I use, the science and research that's very recent about productivity. And today we're going to talk about my most favorite piece of research, and that comes from Harvard Business School, and it's called the Progress Principle. So I'm going to walk you through my journaling method. This is the one that I did today. Oh, you can't see it on Instagram. Hold on a second. There we go. And so today in my journal, first of all, we covered this yesterday, really important for you to start with assessing your mood. And the reason why we want you to assess your mood is because research proves that your mood first thing in the morning impacts your level of productivity, your sense of focus, and your happiness all day long. So super important as a mindfulness act to wake up and tune in and ask yourself, well, how am I feeling? Am I depleted or am I energized? In yesterday's video, I shared that I kind of circled this near the depleted end, the meh kind of end, because somebody had kept me awake in the hotel all night. Well, today I'm really good. And the reason why I'm really good, and this is probably too much information, is because I'd been kind of backed up after our holiday trip to Tanzania, if you know what I mean. And so yesterday, the train finally got moving again. And so I feel really good. I'm also home so I can cook dinner for the family. And I was able to drop off my son and pick up my son. And that just makes me feel really, really good. To feel even more energized, I went to yoga class today. And so this is what we covered in yesterday's video, but I'm just showing you. These questions take 5 seconds. And if you learn how to tune in, to read your energy, and then to think of one thing you could do to boost it. By boosting your mood, you're going to boost your focus, you're going to boost your productivity, you're going to boost your sense of control. It's pretty amazing. The next thing we're going to talk about is this puppy right here. This is the most powerful part of the 5-second journal. And again, don't buy it. You don't need to. We emailed you free templates that you can use. You don't ever need to buy this thing. You can just do this in a journal somewhere. You can do this in your own journal. You can do this in a notebook. You can do this in your head, whatever you want. This is the progress principle. This sucker right here has changed my life, and it helps me be a wildly successful woman. You know, we're launching a brand new daytime talk show that's going to have a staff of 70 people, and it's 175 shows a year. My business partners, Mandy and Chris, and I run a media company in Boston. We have a project launching with Audible Originals on February 7th. We put out videos every single day on social media. We are engaging with more than 1 million people a day on social media. On top of that, we have a ton of, I'm delivering 47 speeches between now and the end of May, and I'm still married after 23 years, and my kids talk to me. So I think I'm doing pretty good. And part of it is because I've learned to leverage the progress principle. I don't try to get everything done. Every morning after I assess my mood, based on research from Harvard Business School, I leverage something called the progress principle. And this is what the progress principle states. The people that feel the most productive and the most satisfied with their work are people who make meaningful progress on something that matters to them. That's it. That's it. They're not the people that get 155,000 things done. The progress principle states that if you make little progress every single day, just incremental steps forward on something that matters to you, you will be more productive, you'll be more satisfied, you'll be happier, you'll be more fulfilled, you'll be more present, And I got to tell you, based on personal experience, this has been a game changer for me. So today, my top project, this is my top project. Brace yourself because it's not that ground shaking. My top project today was simply to brain dump in one place all the loose things that I want to make sure are getting done in our company. That's it. All the projects that that's it. That was just the top project that popped into my mind. Then you're going to say, this project matters to me. Why? Well, it matters to me because it stresses me out when I feel like there are loose ends to things and when I feel like I don't know what's happening. And so I need to do this for me. What's one small action I can do to move forward? One small action, you want to see how incremental this is. The only action that I committed to taking today, based on the progress principle, was to carry my 5-second journal around so that I could use the other side to brain dump the things that I want to make sure that I'm capturing so I can go over this list with the team. That's it. That's it. And I've been brain dumping things as they come up. And there's not as many loose ends as I like manifest in my head. But the good news is I'm making progress. I feel accomplished. I feel satisfied. And so will you. So all I want you to do today is I want you to continue everything that we've talked about. The kind of training part is over. We're trying to keep these training modules around 10 to 15 minutes. So the training part's over. Out of service to you, let me do a recap of what I want you to do today. And then I'm going to do some shout outs and I'm going to answer a few questions. So by way of recap, what is your assignment? Well, your assignment always and forever from this point forward, when you do a mindset reset, it's not an event, it's a process. It's something you practice all day long. The moment you notice that your thoughts are drifting to something that's not serving you, you're going to get deliberate and you're going to direct your thoughts to something that are positive. That's something you're going to do all day long. Visualization, also something that's super important. At the beginning of January, we covered the science of visualization. This is one of the most important videos I've ever done because I explain the reason why visualization works. And I also explain the two-step method for how to visualize based on science. So if you haven't watched that, go to January 1st or January 2nd, find the video, watch it, look through your emails. It's all there. But practice visualization. Now, the way you set yourself up for your morning routine, because that's what we're covering yesterday, today, and on the 11th day, we're going to do the final 2 prompts in the morning routine that I do. Tonight, I want you to plug your phone in outside your bedroom. You're going to turn off all the alerts. You're going to leave the ringer on, and you're going to set your alarm. You're going to go to bed. When the alarm goes off, no snooze button. Get up, turn off the alarm, and then go take those first 10 minutes of the day and you use them to create a powerful morning routine to help you get focused, to help you think positive things, to help you identify your priorities, and to help you make progress on your dreams, something that matters to you. I invite you to use the one that we emailed to you, the 5-second journal method. You're going to assess your mood, and you're going to do the progress principle. You can also move down to the other final prompts. I'll be explaining those in tomorrow's training. If you want to include visualization in your morning routine tomorrow, fantastic. If you have time to do a little micro exercise, fantastic. If you want to add in something else like 5 deep breaths or go walk the dog in the woods, whatever works for you, because if it works for you, you'll do it, okay? I'm trying to get you to become more deliberate about the way you're waking up and what you're thinking about and how you start your day, so that you can figure out the best way that works for you.
And so for everyone listening out there, the starting point, if you are feeling like either, and I think there's a lot of people that have good jobs and feel like their life is good, but they still find themselves.
That was me.
Criticizing, like I'm sitting there this morning looking at, I need to put cover up here. I need to do this. Oh, I need to get my roots done. All, like you said, all the little picky things. And as opposed to stopping and appreciating and taking a moment.
Yeah. And, here's the thing. And, we can unpack the science, because I think the reason why
I was going to say
so powerful is it's not a mantra. It's a physical action and habit that your own brain watches you do, because you do it in a mirror. And between the dopamine drip that your brain gives you when you receive a high five, to the programming and neural association that you already have in your mind, in your subconscious with a high five, to the celebratory energy that is hardwired in your body. There are 4 extraordinary benefits backed by science that you will get no matter who you are, where you are, or what you're facing in your life, if you add a high five in the mirror to your morning routine, no matter how cheesy, stupid, and weird it sounds. So number 1, you get a boost of dopamine, which boosts your mood. Number 2, you literally silence your critic because the programming associated with a high five is already in your brain. So when you raise your hand and go to high five yourself, your prefrontal cortex is paying attention. But as soon as it recognizes that a high five is coming, it grabs the programming from your subconscious. A high five says, I believe in you. I love you. I see you. Keep going. Shake it off. You can face this. I'm with you. A high five has never in the history of high fives meant you're a bad person. You're going to fail. Fuck off. I hope you lose.
Right.
So your brain's programming with a high five shuts up your inner critic and overrides it. That's benefit number 2. Benefit number 3 is your mind is watching. A high five is not just some gesture. A high five demonstrates to your own brain that you treat yourself with kindness, respect, and support. And as your brain every morning sees you taking this action of kindness, support, celebration, and love for self, your brain starts to plow new neural pathways related to your identity. That's number 3. Number 4 is you feel a little jolt of energy that comes from your nervous system, because your nervous system is hardwired for celebration, and your nervous system knows exactly what a high five is. And so every single morning in 5 seconds or less, you can give yourself those 4 benefits backed by science that have been proven to work for more than 140,000 people in 91 countries in the last 48 days. That many people have gone through a 5-day challenge online with me. Not a single person in that challenge, not one, has said it hasn't worked.
And here's the thing. It's 5 seconds and it's free. So what have you got to lose?
And why would you want to do it? But hold on a second. Why would you want to do it? If you got bills that you can't pay, if you've got shame and regret, if your life is a hot mess, if you're surrounded by clutter, I guarantee you, you make yourself fucking wrong over it. Imagine the difference if instead of starting your day by ignoring yourself or beating yourself up and trashing yourself about how cluttered the bathroom sink is and how you haven't even gotten to this yet. Imagine if you shut that down and instead you started practicing a new habit of simply raising your hand and sending yourself into the game of your life the way that a good teammate does in sports. Wouldn't that help you open one bill? Wouldn't feeling encouraged help you attack the clutter in your calendar? Wouldn't feeling that you at least treat yourself like you like yourself make it easier for you to draw some boundaries with yourself because you like yourself? Isn't high-fiving yourself an act of forgiveness, an act of compassion? And don't you fucking need it?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, it's Mel, and I know I have been hammering the point that you have to create a routine if you want to be happy, successful, and feel confident and in control. And so many of you have asked me, what is my morning routine? So today I decided to walk you through it. So I wake up at 6:15 to this alarm clock that simulates the sunrise. Then I pet my dog. Then I always make my bed. This is a really important tip. So the night before you are going to sleep, lay out your exercise clothes, because when you see them in the morning, it acts like a trigger in your mind to remind you of your promised exercise. And even though I get dressed, I don't feel like exercising. Here's another pro tip. I program my mind to be positive all day, and I practice gratitude while brushing my teeth. I brush with my non-dominant hand, which is the hand that you normally don't write with. So I brush my teeth with my left hand because I'm a righty. And then as I am brushing my teeth with my left hand, I have to pay attention because it's not really a natural thing to do. And as I'm paying attention, I have my gratitude practice where I think about what I'm grateful for. I love it when the spring flowers are coming up. We've turned our family room into a gym, and I have tagged a bunch of the classes and instructors that I love for you to check out. Oh, gotta go to the bathroom. Oh, there's Chris. Now let's get started with the class. Braxton, here we go. Oh, forgot my water bottle. I have terrible ADD. It is true. What do I put in my water bottle? Baraka. Holly Jacobs from Sony Pictures Television. I love you for introducing me to this. Kind of hard to exercise when you have a puppy, but makes you grateful. What do I eat for breakfast? Either a smoothie or eggs from the chickens across the street. And I'm telling you right now, your morning routine is everything. So get up early and find time for yourself. So there you have it. That's my typical morning routine, and it never fails. Every morning that I stick to my routine, I have a much more powerful day. And the mornings that I don't stick to the routine suck, honestly, because I wake up behind the ball. When I get up when the alarm rings, I have made and kept a promise to myself. When I make the bed, I am completing something before I leave the bedroom. And I also, whenever I walk back into the bedroom, I see something that has been accomplished. I don't see a mess that needs to be completed. By prioritizing my physical and mental health and getting some exercise in, I not only feel better mentally, but I also release chemicals in my brain that helps me focus. There is no doubt that having a powerful morning routine is part of every successful person's programs. It is something that you deserve. It is something that you should create for yourself, and it is something that will improve your life. Now, I want to challenge you, put your morning routine tomorrow morning on social media. Put it on your stories, do a collage of photos, and please tag me and describe your morning routine, because I am going to be watching, I'm going to be cheering for you, and I'm going to be celebrating people on my story for the next week who are putting their morning routines out there. Remember, morning routines are amazing, so make one that works amazingly well for you. You said something really interesting about morning routines, so tell me what happened.
Well, so I've been doing Spring It On, which I've been loving. And, you know, last week did a little friend cleanse.
Yep.
In a good way.
Yep.
And, you know, this week is all about the morning routine and the evening routine. And I said, I feel like I have morning routine envy.
Now, how many of you have morning routine envy? That you read about all these influencers and these famous people and their fabulous morning routines with the infrared sauna and the meditation for 45 minutes and the vegan macrobiotic blue algae whatchamacallit thing. And I
feel like I was like, oh, I get to see Mel. Maybe she'll just tell me what to do.
I'm going to tell you what to do.
I feel like I need to know, because I feel like I've listened to friends. I've tried a couple of their, and I do this, and I put my and have gratitude. And I think you really do need to do what feels most organic to you, but my instinct is to reach for my phone. I mean, that's honest.
How many of you, are you somebody that the second that you wake up, you know you should practice gratitude, but you feel a little eye roll about that. You know you should exercise, but you just don't want to because you're not a morning person. And your first instinct is to reach for your phone. If you can relate to this, put your hands up. Put your hands up. Yep, okay. So here's the thing about morning routines. I think morning routine envy is a real thing. Mm-hmm. And I do believe that a lot of people lie about their morning routines. I think lying about your morning routine is a real thing. I think pretending you have the perfect morning routine is a real thing. I'm about, when I'm home, I'm almost 80% in my morning routine. Mm-hmm. I get it done because it's super simple.
Right, so I mean, I think I need a simple one.
Yes. And when I'm traveling, I almost never get the whole thing done because there's too many excuses. I am in a different time zone. What's wrong? You're looking at me. Oh, Megan gave me a look.
No, I have an itch in my ear.
Oh, you have an itch in your ear?
Jeremy's gonna get it.
Thank you.
And so I think the key to having a morning routine, and morning routines are critical, because how you start your day has a massive proven impact on how your day turns out. There's one piece of research that I think is really profound, and this comes from Sean Anker. I talked about this yesterday, but I'm gonna tell you this too, Susie. If you consume 3 minutes, just 3 minutes of negative news, of negative television, of negative emails, maybe stressful emails from work or stressful texts from friends, you have more than a 50% chance 8 hours later to say you had a bad day. And the reason why is because of what consuming that kind of information does to your mind. It literally sets your mind up to be on the lookout for things going wrong. And so the reason why a morning routine is actually so important is because, number one, it determines what your priority for the day is. And we also know, based on research, that your mood in the morning, it impacts your productivity all day long.
For sure.
So here's what I do. Then this will get rid of your morning routine envy, because you have a 14-year-old son.
I do. So my mornings are different every day.
Okay.
Like sometimes getting him off to school, or sometimes I have an early job, or sometimes, so it's not like, oh, every day and then I have to be at work by 9, and that's just not my real life.
Yeah, that's not my real life. That is not real life.
No.
I don't think that's
Okay.
anybody's real life
Okay,
at this
fair.
point in the world, right? But we look at other people's morning routines and are like, how do you have 2 hours to do all that? I'm sorry. Unless you live a fantasy life.
Well, I do have fantasies of like, I'm gonna wake up and get into down dog, and then I'm gonna, like, it's like I have fantasies of that. I do.
I love that. Okay, I do too, and none of those fantasies come true.
No, because I'm not in the mood.
Oh, good. Okay, so there's major takeaways today. First of all, if you're not getting your morning routine done, it's too complicated. Secondly, if you're banking on your mood being the motivator, you've already lost, because you will actually never be in the mood to get out of a warm, cozy, awesome bed. And thinking that your mood is what you need first is why most of us fail.
Okay.
You have to make a decision, because you know that even though it's painful to get out of bed, and even though it's painful to not reach for your phone, you have to make a decision that you're not going to, because of the impact it's going to have on the rest of your day. And so there's only one thing I want you to do.
Okay.
You ready?
Tell me.
When the alarm goes off, you're going to get up.
Yep.
Okay? And then do you use your phone as an alarm?
I do, but most days I don't need an alarm. I just body clock.
Wow, I do not have that issue.
Today I needed an alarm, but
Okay.
most days, because we sort of get ready for school, the whole thing.
Great. Okay, so I prefer that you not put your phone in your bedroom.
Okay.
That way you can't reach for it.
Okay.
Because it's a habit to
Yeah,
reach for it,
yeah,
and you
yeah.
don't even realize that
True.
you're reaching for it. And so what I would prefer that you do is that you put it in your bathroom, or you put it in your kitchen, or you put
Okay.
it on the floor in the corner.
Okay.
And since you have a 14-year-old who needs you, just leave the ringer on, but
Yeah.
turn the buzzer off.
Okay. Mhm.
If you need me, call me.
Okay.
He will text you in the middle of the night, but he probably won't call.
Right. Well,
you know what I'm
he
saying?
can also walk down the
Yeah,
hall.
you can walk down the hall.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So, so that's what you're going to do. You're going to get up, and then you're going to do something that I call self before sell.
Okay.
I want you to let's start with 5 minutes.
Okay.
Just 5 minutes. Because you can find 5 minutes even if you have a 5 a.m. wake-up call to
Yes.
go do an early makeup appointment, right? Or brows appointment.
Yeah.
You're going to find 5 minutes for self before sell, wherever my cell, we're going to use this as a cell phone. And the reason why I want you to do that is because I want you to take 5 minutes, make your cup of coffee, and I want you can either do a gratitude practice where you literally just write down 3 things that you're grateful for. Now here's a trick about gratitude. Writing down what you're grateful for doesn't work unless you do it this way. Because if I ask you what you're grateful for, everybody says the same thing. I'm grateful to be alive, I'm grateful for my health, and I'm grateful for my family. And that's so generic that you're not retraining your brain.
Right.
You've got to add in the because.
Right.
I'm grateful for X because.
Okay.
And the added detail will make you change up what you say, and it will also train your mind in a way that's more detailed, so it actually has a lasting impact on the way that you view the world. So you can either do a gratitude practice, or you can do what
Where
I
am
do.
Sitting for all this.
Wherever you want,
Okay.
away from your phone.
Not in bed.
I'd prefer you get out of bed. Yes. Good question. Get out of bed. I would prefer you actually get up and move away from your bedroom.
Okay.
And just start your, like, you can be making a cup of coffee as you're doing this.
Yeah.
Here's what I do. The thing that I ask myself is, what is the one thing that matters most to me today? And when you ask yourself that question, you've now just set your number one priority. It could be that you make it to your son's whatever, theater show, right? It could be that you do a great job at the 11 o'clock appointment. It could be that you spend 30 minutes working on something related to your mobile brow service, right? What's it called?
Flybrow.
Flybrow, here in LA, Flybrow. There
And
you
San
go.
Francisco and New York.
And San Francisco and New York, Flybrow. Little entrepreneur right here. Awesome. It could be that you're just going to find 20 minutes to really work on, I don't know, you're going to do a Google search and see what other brands are doing. Just one thing. I only want you to think of one thing.
Okay.
And what you're going to be leveraging is something called the progress principle.
Okay.
It's a piece of research from Harvard Business School.
Okay.
And people that focus on one thing that matters to them every day, the reports around how much momentum it creates, you're more than 60% more likely to actually get that thing done.
Oh, I love that.
And more importantly, it gives you control before you let the world
Yes.
in.
This is so manageable. This is good.
Yes, see, that's the thing. It has to be manageable or you won't do it.
Right.
That's why I'm not putting downward dog in.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not putting in, if the gratitude thing is not your thing, don't do it.
But the gratitude thing feels the most organic and
Yep.
like believable.
Okay.
And all the other things
Yeah.
I thought about.
Yeah, so all I want you to do, what are you going to do? Give me just the simple steps that you're going to start doing as your 5-minute morning routine.
Well, I'm gonna put the phone not next to my bed. I'm gonna get up, and while I'm doing other things, possibly spend 5 minutes thinking about the one thing I intend to do that day
That matters to
that
you.
matters to me.
Yes. Okay? And by doing that, putting yourself before yourself, when you think about it just from a common sense standpoint, what does that mean about how you are starting your day?
I'm prioritizing me.
Boom. That is the most important thing that you could do in your morning.
Mm-hmm.
The most important thing is that you prioritize yourself, because we know once you pick up your phone, your entire day is hijacked and gone.
That's true.
Yes.
And also, emails are like for other people responding to
Yes.
this email.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, it's Mel. Thank you so much for checking this video out. And if you like this one, I have a feeling you're going to like this one too. I'll see you there.